Oh, hey. So now that I have your attention, I want to talk a little bit about why it may be more challenging to get rest when you're like, my whole body is exhausted, my mind is exhausted, my life is exhausting, really, when we're thinking about it, and why we're not able to either rest when the baby rests, like everybody says it should be just be so easy, right? Or we should take that moment, we have those extra 15 minutes or that extra hour, get a little rest in when we're laying there, no matter how tired we feel we are, when we lay down, our mind won't shut off. Um, our body just, it won't, it is not rest inducing by any means. And I want to chat with you about that because it's not just because your thoughts necessarily are racing. There are actual hormonal processes going on in your body because of some things that may be going on in your life. And I want to talk about them because it's not for any lack of trying most often, especially if we feel like we're going and we're trying to capitalize on those moments that we can have some time. It's just not working. And why that is because when melatonin levels go down, and melatonin is that hormone that our body produces naturally when it starts to get darker out. And I'll talk a little bit about the circadian rhythm. That's why our body knows when to produce melatonin and why jet lag is a thing, because our body's used to one thing and it's going into a whole nother one. So when our body starts to produce melatonin, that's what it tells our body to start relaxing. Our mind can start being more at ease and we can fall asleep easier and have more productive sleep. But when melatonin levels go down, that's because stress is going up. So when our body is in kind of like a fight or flight space, when it's feeling a lot of stress for whatever reason, maybe it's feeling stressed because we're a new mom or we're a mom of five, but we still are just that causes a lot of stress, right? There's lots of things to be planning and always thinking about. So when that stress goes up, melatonin levels go down. And when melatonin levels go down, that creates a space where it's harder for our body to fall asleep, stay asleep, and just have that really nice, deep, healing sleep where our body can truly rejuvenate and do what it's supposed to. So when we're thinking about that, some ways we can dive in and kind of help nurture that melatonin level. And well, obviously, we're going to say, well, take the stress out of your life, right? But especially if that stress is new kid, 5 kids, 2 kids, whatever amount, maybe it's no kids, but we are having a heck of a time at work. Maybe we're having a heck of a time in our relationships, whether it's with our parents, whether it's with a significant other, whatever that might be, stress happens. And if our body and our mind feels like we're constantly in this state of stress, that melatonin's not going to produce the way it's supposed to or it's meant to, because it thinks it needs to kind of fight for its life, right? It's going back to caveman stuff when it's like, hey, if we're stressed out, it's because we're trying to flee from something, run from something, hide from something, freeze and pretend we're not there situation. And so that's why that melatonin isn't being produced the way that it should. So to help that melatonin kind of figure out itself, you might want to check and see if the circadian rhythm of your body is in sync, right? So maybe if you've traveled to a new space, maybe it's across the country, maybe it's just a couple states over, but do things going out, getting natural sunlight so that your body can acclimate and know where it's at. That'll help the circadian rhythm, which will in turn help with that melatonin level because it'll know when it should be producing it. But also, I mean, and everybody knows you can find melatonin pills that can be helpful. I am by no means a doctor, so I'm not going to prescribe anything like that. Please talk to your doctor if that is something you're interested in, or your herbalist or your naturopath, whoever that is. Speak with them, see what works for you if you feel like that is a route you need. Because again, I'm not a doctor, only providing some information on where you can help balance this out. As a body code practitioner, we can go look at the circadian rhythm and the diurnal cycle, which both have to do with our body producing and doing different systems in our body to help us throughout the day. But we can look and see if it's all synced up, if there's something else internally that's maybe misaligned, and energy that's kind of bogging the system, that's not allowing it to do what it's supposed to, and get that circadian rhythm doing what it's supposed to. Maybe we need to go in and check out your pineal gland on an energetic basis too, and really identify what's going on there. Is there something, maybe there's a spiritual, physical disconnect there, or maybe it's two physical disconnects where they're just not communicating as fully as they should. These are just some things to think about. Everybody's going to say, obviously you got to get that stress down in your life for sure, because once we can kind of even out the stress or know how to work through stress, whether it's 5 kids, whether it's huge issue at work or miscommunication in our relationships that are causing us this extra stress, finding some healthy ways to work through that on a proactive space as well as reactive, because sometimes things jump out at us and we can't really do anything to be proactive. But just knowing how to handle stress and what feels good to us, making those boundaries, making our health a priority. Sleep is necessary. Melatonin is so good for your body. I can't emphasize that enough, but you in the end is what is important here. You have to put that face mask on for yourself to breathe before you can help others. So if that's your biggest concern, which I know for many people, that is where they're at, is, well, I've got to help all these people first. That's why I'm so stressed. Let's put that face mask on, doing what it is. Maybe it's a bubble bath. Every Tuesday you take a bubble bath, right? That's something special for you to help with your stress level. Let's find those different easy ways so that you can be the best you to help those that are most important to you. All right. If you have any questions for me, I would love to answer them. Please drop them in the chat. Reach out to me. You can find me on all the social medias, and I would love to see what we can do to help your stress level so that your melatonin can kick in naturally, so that your body can function as best as it can.